Hi, this video I'm going to get straight to the point, go through how to use GitHub. I found that I couldn't find information online when I was learning, and I would like to share what I've picked up. So, first concept to look at, main and branches. So the idea is main is your base branch. Everything is on there that is your current working active code. It could be something existing that someone else has created. The idea is you are going to be adding a feature. You want to add a new button, a new functionality. What you'll do is you'll create a new branch with main as the reference point. You're then going to do your work. Once you've done your work, you commit. You push the work. Once everyone's happy that it's been reviewed, you've had a PR, it's then going to be merged into main. Another developer can come along and at the same time take their branch, do their work, commit, push, then merge it also into main. The terminology here is going to be the difference between local and remote. That's something that you've got to get used to. Remote is going to be what is in the cloud. That is what's on the GitHub website, what you see here. That is your remote branches. And you also have local branches. A lot of this terminology, commit, push, fetch, pull, is all about syncing the two, synchronizing them together. The idea is that you have your remote branch, you then grab a copy of that by cloning it, or if there's work that's ongoing, you would fetch and you would pull the latest work to your local branch. Once you're happy with the work that you've done, you would then be pushing it, you'd be committing it, you'd be pushing it, and then once you're happy, the remote branch would be merged into main. I'm going to show you an example of doing that. We have Visual Studio, which is going to be open. So looking on GitHub, these are currently repositories that I currently have. If I wanted to make a new one, I can click New. If I wanted to work on an existing one, I'd click on the work here. I have other options. I can click Copy, and when I go on Visual Studio for the first time, I have the option, do I want to clone the repository? In which case I would paste this that I have on the left here, and it would make a local copy of what is on GitHub. Alternatively, I'm going to create a brand new project. As an example, this is just an example, GH demo, next, and create. So this is my new application on the right hand side here. There is nothing on there. I'm going to do new code. Under Git changes here, you can see there's no source control, no repository, nothing at the bottom. I have the option under Git changes to clone a repository, like on the loading screen, or I can create one. I'm going to create one on GitHub. This is where my local files are going to be stored. This is where it's going to be on GitHub. I have linked my account, my GitHub account, and it's going to be under the name GH demo or GB whatever demo. I'm going to create, and I'm going to push that work to the remote repository. There we go. If I refresh GitHub, I'll now see GH demo is there. If I click into it, I can see my master branch, and I have no other branches. What I'm now going to demonstrate is going to be creating a new branch and merging. So the idea is down here, I am on master. I don't really want to do my work on master. I'd like to create a separate branch on master so its code can still work. I can then add my work, and then I can merge the two together. So it's going to be branch 1, no spaces in here or it will create an error. I'm going to be basing it on master. It could be based on other things if there were other features I wanted to go on top of, but generally I'm basing it on master. I now create my branch. This is created locally, and GitHub currently doesn't know anything about it yet. I'm going to add a new piece of code. So branch 1 code. I can now see under git changes that I've made a program to change to program.cs. If we use the GitHub Desktop, the benefit is you can tick which files you'd like to be uploaded, and when you click on each one, it will tell you and highlight which changes you have made to a file. It's just visually easier to manage, but within this program, you can manage it this way. So I'm on branch 1. This is going to be the commit, so I'm going to say I have added new code. I'm now going to commit this, and I'm saving it. It says I have one outgoing piece of work. The options that we have here are going to be fetch, which would be if I was getting a copy of the work, if someone else had done some work. I'll show you that in a second. And pulling, which is similar, actually grabbing the work and putting it on my local machine. But what we'd like to do is we're going to use push. So I'm going to say I have one new piece of work on branch 1. I've made the new branch and I've pressed commit with my little note, and I'm now going to push it. So I click push. I now refresh this screen here on GitHub. I have master and I have my branch 1. So if I look on master in the program.cs file, there's just the new code. But if I looked at the same file on branch 1, it now has branch 1 code, which is what I've written here. So you can see there's the two. Now what I'd like to do is, because I'm really happy with the code that I've written in branch 1, I'd like to put that into master because it's been tested, I'm happy with it. So what I'm going to do here is on the right it says successfully created, push to origin. Would you like to create a pull request? Yes, I'd like to do this. This is where you say to all of your colleagues in your team, I am happy with the work. So this is a PR, a pull request, a peer review, a code review, however your business like to call it. I can create a pull request here. I can add comments, whatever I want to do. If I wish, I can see all the little commits that I've made, if I made multiple. If I wanted to see the files that I changed, I can see that I added the new file. If I wanted to have people review my code, I could put it in here. Generally, some businesses require 2 other people who haven't worked on the project to look at it from an outside point of view and review your code before it's allowed to merge. So if I type their name in here, it would message Bob and it would say Ivan would like to have his code reviewed. If he approves it, I would then get both of my approvals from someone else as well, and then I would be able to click this green button. But at the moment, the button is enabled because I don't have a requirement for reviews. So I'm going to click merge. This is only, be careful when doing this, this is only when you are happy that all the work is tested, done, and it's happy to be merged into master. And you can see I would like to merge one commit into master from branch 1. Confirm. Now generally what happens is you will do one piece of work in a branch. Once you've merged it, you delete it, and then you create another one. So rather than having one continue one with lots of different features, you do one piece, merge, delete. One piece, merge, delete. So generally what we would do here is we're going to delete the branch, but for now we're just going to leave it. If I go onto the main piece of work again, I can see my 2 branches are still here, but if I go into master, I can see that the work is now merged into here. Now because if I look on my local machine here, I have local and remote. If I wanted to switch to master, I can click on this here and it would say, well, it's only got a copy of what it thought. It hasn't detected that I've merged the 2 yet. It's just on my local machine, so it's not synced up. So I actually want to get a copy of what's on GitHub. And actually if another developer had done some work, I'm just going to edit this file. This is not how it's normally done. But if another developer had come in, another developer work, had done some work, and they'd also put their work and merged their work, it would then be in master. So what I'd like to do is on master, I'm on my machine and I'd like to fetch the work, which is just having a look just to see if there is any new work, and I go, there's actually some work here. Now I would like to have a copy of that work, and the reason I'd like that work is so that I can pull it and have a look at it. So I'm going to press pull, and it will pull the work in. So fetch is sort of just having a look to see if there is anything. Pulling is actually bringing the work in. What that means is now that I'm on master, I can see branch 1 code, another developer work. So this is what we put when we were editing it here. So this is how it works. Generally, the other things to consider would be the fact that you've got stashing, which is if you're in the middle of working on something and you want to have a look at another branch, the computer will say, well, what do you want to do with the code that you've done? Do you want to commit it and say, yes, this is done? Or if you're kind of halfway through doing it, you might say, well, actually, I'm not quite ready yet. Let me just have a look at the other code and I might come back to it. So you would then stash your code before having a look at the other developer's work. There are other ways to manage it. You've got GitHub Desktop. You can use the command line with different commands like this. It's entirely up to you with what you'd like to use. If two developers have worked on the same area and they've changed the same bit of code, sometimes there are things called conflicts. These are a little harder to resolve, but generally a developer would be able to assist you, or within Visual Studio it will tell you there is a conflict, please resolve it, and it will generally tell you the two files to resolve, and then you can copy, paste, add the bit of work that you want to put in, and you can make sure that there's no conflicts, and then you can merge it. So this is what I picked up, and I hope it helps. Loads of learning. Best thing I'd recommend doing is loading Visual Studio, creating a completely separate account that you're not going to be using, or a completely separate repository. You can delete this, add things, move things around, do it all to practice before you actually do something on a live environment, because when you click in that merge button, it's a little bit scary on a live environment if you're not sure what it does, whereas when you're doing it on your test one, you can figure out, see how it works, get things all muddled up and try and work it all out. That's the best way of doing things. Thanks for your time. Bye bye.